What's going on, guys? So in front of me is our new 2023 GMC Denali pickup truck, half-ton truck with the 3-liter Duramax diesel newest generation engine. Not trying to brag. There really isn't any point in bragging. A lot of people have really nice trucks. I'm just trying to explain the specific truck you're looking at. So in this video, we're going to do something that, you know, I think a lot of people probably expected we would do right after getting this truck, but we're going to do it in a little bit different way. Hang tight. I'll be right back. Okay, so in the bed of this truck is an accessory that I think a lot of people anticipated we would have relatively soon installed on the truck. But I've decided to do something a little differently. I've decided to install this accessory in a manner that I would normally install an accessory if I didn't have a YouTube channel and I wasn't filming. And the reason for that is, you know, you can find installation videos all over the internet of products. eTrailer puts out some absolutely phenomenal installation videos, review videos, overview videos, all sorts of really great content on the products that they sell. And they have access to filming equipment and people and resources that I simply don't. So I think for the most part, when people buy a product, they want to unbox it, they want to get it installed, and they want to start using it. They don't really want to go through the whole installation process. What I don't want to do in this video is a full step-by-step installation of the product that we have in the bed of this truck. Instead, I'm going to install it. I'm going to put it on by following the instructions and doing it the way that they want me to do it. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to explain to you any challenges that I ran into, and more importantly, how long it took to actually install the product, because challenges equate to longer installation times. So I consider myself to be a pretty mechanically inclined person, and I like to install accessories, but more importantly, I like to finish the install so I can actually use the accessory, because I don't think anybody really enjoys installing accessories. I think most people just want to get it done so they can actually use the product. So if you watch this video on the product that I'm about to reveal and you really want to understand how to install it, again, a lot of great videos out there on YouTube, and eTrailer has probably the best video in terms of installation, as well as best practices, little accessories or tools you may need, and also challenges that they run into and how to overcome them. So when I put a link in the description of this video to the product that's in the bed of this truck, definitely check them out if you are wanting to install it, because those are the videos I actually reference when it comes to installing products like this. So this video is going to be showcasing what it is, and then I'll jump straight to the part to where it's already installed, and we'll talk about any challenges or any other issues that may have happened during that process. Alright, so in the bed of the truck is the Pace Edwards by Lear bed cover. Now, this specific bed cover is retractable. It's definitely on the higher end of bed covers in terms of what it's designed to do, how it's designed to function, some of the features that it has. But the reason why we went specifically with this is because we're not going to be hauling a fifth wheel around. The Axis bed cover that I have on my F450 right over there is designed to roll up and give me very easy access to my fifth wheel, as well as connecting a gooseneck and anything else I need to do, while still giving me access to my toolbox in the bed of the truck. So this one right here is not going to have a toolbox to contend with, and it's simply going to provide a really great way to secure, cover, and protect whatever I have in the bed of my truck. And another product, which I may or may not have already shown you in another video, is this really cool Black Armor bed cover. Now, I only got half of it in. The other half was lost in mail. So it comes in 2 boxes, about this size, believe it or not. Actually, the box for it is right here, and it comes with 2 of these, exact same size, exact same weight, but I'll do a whole nother video talking about this, as well as some products that kind of compare to it, because yeah, I only have half of it right now, and until the other half comes in, I really can't give you a comprehensive review or overview of what this product's about. But this is going to be in a future video. Again, the product is called Black Armor. Very cool, but some things you definitely want to be careful of if this is a product you're looking for. Anyways, let's get this thing unboxed, installed, and then I'll come back at the very end and show you what it looks like, how it functions, some of the challenges from an installation perspective, and how long it took. Okay, so real quick before I start the installation process, I have everything unboxed just so you can kind of see what's in the box. You're going to have the big cartridge, which holds the actual tonneau cover, and it's going to have 2 pieces of plywood that will be attached to the end that you have to take off. You'll have a smaller box that has all of your mounting hardware. You'll have the instructions that come inside of this bag, along with the seal that goes across the front of your bed right here, as well as 2 drain pipes, keys, plus the 2 rails that will go up and down the sides of your bed. Multi-Pro tailgate's coming in pretty handy here to be able to get onto the bed of the truck, so I can make this a little easier to install. But yeah, we're gonna go and kick off the install. It took me about 6 minutes to get everything unboxed. So I don't know if you want to count that against the install time. We're going to follow through the instructions here, and we're going to see how long it takes. So real quickly, kind of out of breath here because this part takes a little bit of time. It takes 15 minutes, at least for me, to get the rails into the grooves on the side here. If you watch videos on installing one of these, you'll realize that you have to kind of get it right into the little channels on the bottom, slide them in and past about 1.5 inches. And I was able to do it. I had to prop this side up a little bit higher than that side because once you get this side on, it's going to make this side lean in a little bit. So I had to wedge it up just a little bit more to get it to happen. But I got it to happen. It took me a total of 15 minutes to get the rails right here into the canister up front. So that's probably, or at least it's supposed to be, the most difficult part of all of this. So let's see if that holds true. Okay, so we are done. Well, 99.99% done. There was a single piece that was broken in shipment, and it's the little tiny piece of plastic collar that inserts into one of the drain hoses. So you have 2 drain hoses that come off the bottom of the cartridge, and the cartridge is the part that holds the top in, and one on this side and one on that side, and you simply find a hole that exits your bed to be able to stick that hose into. Most of these retractable style tonneau covers are going to have that. One of the collars that goes into the hose was snapped off, so we have that thing JB Weld drying behind us. Hopefully we don't have any more issues with that. The other installation issue we ran into was, I guess during shipment, the cartridge on this side rotated back slightly past the stopper. So the stopper is the thing that prevents this thing from just shooting all the way into the cartridge and rolling back there and getting all jammed up. On this side it was perfectly fine, but on that side it was like 1 inch past behind it, and we had already installed the rails on, and because that was past it back there, there was no way to feed it out and into the channel on this rail. So it took us a little bit longer to actually disassemble this side of it so we could feed the top, this retractable portion, out and past the stopper. If you run into an issue, basically what I would recommend is before you run into an issue, just make sure that the topper is rolled out about 6 inches outside of the cartridge, and that way you can be sure that you're feeding it into these rails on each side without it possibly jamming up. Because if it does jam up before you feed it through, you're going to have to take the rail apart again. That added about 10 additional minutes to the install. Now, the other part of it is once you do that, you have to reinsert the rail back into the cartridge over here, and that is not an easy process. That took, at the beginning, like I told you, 15 minutes to be able to put them both in, but to pull that one out and then put it back in after we fixed it was another 10 minutes, but then remounting everything back up was probably another 10 minutes. So yeah, because we had to work backwards essentially and take some stuff off, it made it a little bit more difficult. But all in all, 1.5 hours for a project like this really isn't that bad. Ultimately, it all worked out really well. One thing that the instructions don't mention is that you have weather stripping on the bottom of these rails as well as the ends. And you need to be sure to take off the little backing tape that is on it, because at first glance you might think you just keep it on, but then yeah, you need to take that paper tape off or that paper foam protectant off, otherwise it's not going to be installed correctly. So I had to redo that because again, when I looked at it, it looked like it could stay on. Ended up removing that. That worked out well. I did have to use shims on the side of this. So on the inside, you can see these little clamps right here. And the back of the truck is actually a little narrower than the front of the bed. And you can probably see that from here. This is narrower right here than the front. And because of that, these rails are specifically designed to work with this truck. But sometimes they may be slightly in or slightly out, a little too far, and they give you some shims so you can wedge between the clamp to space this out a little bit, because what you don't want is too much side-to-side motion of this. Otherwise, it can either unlock itself while you're driving, or it can actually come out of the channel. It's a far greater likelihood that it would just unlock itself and then roll to the next stop, because something cool about this is you can stop this incrementally when you open it. So let me show you. So I got my grab strap here. This is spring loaded, so it's gonna wanna kind of fly back once you unlock it. And you can see right there where it stopped at the next little location on the track, and they're spaced 1 foot apart from each other, so you really have a lot of flexibility where you want this thing to stop. Okay, there we go. So now it's all the way in its open position. The canister itself takes up probably about 10 inches, 11 inches from the back of the bed up here. There is space underneath the canister, but you have to be careful because your drain lines are also under there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It comes with a lubrication rag, so you can lubricate the inside of the channels right here so this stays smooth. I'll probably do it every few months or so. And then it also has these little kickstand parts that come with the clamps. And the kickstands are these little things right here. You can see it a little better on the other side if I go around. And they're right there. And the purpose of the kickstand is to level out the rails on the side once you get them installed. Basically make sure that these are flat with these. Otherwise they might be leaning in slightly, and if they lean in, then it could kind of make that a little clunkier when it's coming forward and back, and possibly make it wear out prematurely. Very cool. The reason why I went with this over retracts or over several other options that I had available to me was really because of the simplicity of the install. Besides a few little things that are a little tricky to work with, it's pretty simple to install. It sits flush with the bed rails, so it doesn't rise up. And I know on retracts it bumps up a little bit right here, and I didn't really want that. I like that it's spring loaded, so whenever you're here at the back of the bed, you simply unlock it and it will spring all the way up. And most of them give you the ability to stop it incrementally in between, but I do like the ability for this one, again, to be spring loaded and kind of open up. I didn't want to go with the electric one. I don't think that that's practical for most people. It's, you know, like $3 grand or more, something like that, and it gives you the ability to open it up or close it electronically. I'm not too worried about that. This works really well, has this really long strap. And again, when you hear that little click, it's one of the incremental stops that you can leave it at, and you can lock it at any of those stops, which is really cool. So if you have something large underneath the back and maybe part of it protrudes out this way, you can still lock it, so it might make it a little bit harder for someone to try to tamper with or steal. The actual panels here are aluminum panels with a vinyl tonneau top to it, so they're laminated to the top, so that's really nice. It's not something that you're just going to be able to cut right through. Again, aluminum with vinyl on top. It is key lockable right here, which is really nice. The only thing I don't like about the key lockable system is that I have another key to carry around. What I kind of wish is that when it's in its fully locked position, you have like a manual button you could press to open it when the tailgate's down. So if I don't have my key on me for whatever reason, I don't have to worry about having to unlock this and open it from here. So having a bypass button underneath here that I can simply press to open it up from the inside without the key when the tailgate's down, I think would be really, really cool. Anyways, guys, very, very cool product. eTrailer carries a ton of tonneau covers in all different varieties, shapes, sizes, features, everything you can imagine. They carry retracts, they carry Pace Edwards, they carry Extang, they carry Access, they carry tons and tons and tons of tonneau covers. For this truck, we went a little bit different route than we went with the F450. The F450 has the Access Toolbox roll-up bed cover on it, which is really great for folks with fifth wheels because, well, really great for folks with fifth wheels and toolboxes, because couple it with a low-profile toolbox, you have a really good setup for towing a fifth wheel. This type of bed cover for this truck I think is a better fit because it's going to give me more access to the bed. It's going to protect the contents in the bed. It's going to look really, really nice and flush, and it's going to provide security and convenience in terms of protecting whatever I have in the bed. I'm going to see how it withstands weather, rain, harsh UV light. All of that stuff can certainly beat up tonneau covers. The Access tonneau cover is done exceptionally well. I predict this will also do very well, but you know, only time will tell, and I'll definitely come back to give you guys my opinion of how it's held up over time, especially when it's time to get rid of this truck. Anyways, guys, I will put a link in the description of this video if you are interested in a tonneau cover. Check out etrailer.com. They are my official channel sponsor, and they have just about every type of tonneau cover you could imagine. So I'll put a link in there. Definitely check them out. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.